Hi, this is Susie J. Cobwebs, and today we're going to talk about writing space. What does your writing space look like? Although this could vary from person to person or personality, or if you are a minimalist, or if you have to have all the extras and all the doodads all around you, that's fine. But before I continue, I'd like to walk down a little bit of memory lane of my historical timeline over what my writing space looked like. As a child, I used the old-fashioned pen and paper to jot down notes and those are the stories with Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, and all the fictional characters, because that's all I knew at that moment. I actually wrote stories and I concocted theories about a lot of things that just became my fictional world. And that's what kept my mind going on a consistent basis. So as being a creative writer, that was my passion. And I knew eventually I was going to be out there writing books and being authors of different pages and blogs and everything else. And honestly, my parents were okay with that because I was happy, content, and you know what? Also quiet. That was like almost a parent's dream, right? As I grew older, I purchased a typewriter. You thought I was an adult, but no, I wasn't. I was just a teenager wanting to get to the next level of my writing. I was not one of those normal children that, I wanted a video game, or I wanted the skateboard, or I wanted the extra sports equipment. No, I wanted a typewriter, or I wanted stationery, because I had a lot of pen pals back in the day that I constantly wrote to faithfully. And let me tell you, I think I put a lot of miles on my typewriter. I had a manual typewriter for a while, and then it upgraded to electronical typewriter. So that was also a plus in my book. Now, if you ever wrote on a typewriter, you would know that you couldn't really make too many mistakes. And if you did make mistakes, you had to use whiteout, scratch out the mistake that you made, put the white out, let it dry, retype over it. And then if you made too many mistakes on the typewriter, then you had to retype out the whole document. So that took so much more time and effort that you really didn't need, actually. I mean, seriously. Is whiteout even still around? Believe me, when I went to the second stage of my drafting of my book, I would type these pages constantly. It was writing, rewriting, retyping the papers. I had papers of typed notes and drafts and redrafts and everything else all around the house. I had to try to make sure that I knew which one was a good copy and which one was a bad copy at this point. That's when I went through a lot of paper. And that's why I turned over to the electronical typewriter, which wasn't as bad because I was able to fix some of my mistakes before they were actually written, or if they were written, there was a way that you could erase it a little bit, so it wasn't as bad. But still, there was a lot of rewrites, writes, drafts, everything else. So you're constantly having to retype these documents over and over again. So that still really wasn't where I needed to be. Which I don't know if they still have electronic typewriters anymore, and in any case, I don't even know if they still have whiteout anymore. But I moved up to the next level, which was a desktop. Now, the desktop was big, it was bulky, and it put up a lot on my computer's desk, but I knew that that was mine. So I worked at this. This was so much better than what I anticipated before, because now I'm not having to do all the extra rewrites and the drafting and everything else. That it was all done on the computer right here. So that was actually a good strategic move on my part, whether I got this huge desktop. Now, this didn't take away from the pen pal writing and the different schoolwork that I had to do, which that was a whole lot easier doing it on a computer than it was on the typewriters and the manual and doing it old-fashioned. So I actually had to go to the next level. And after I hit that desktop and I was so keen on the idea that this was a good idea, I went to a laptop. Good thing for modern technology when they brought out the laptop, because now I can actually move from desk to desk or room to room or even a table to outside. That was really, really convenient for me. So I can go do whatever I want, when I want, and with my computer, I can write, I can jot things down, I can rewrite, I can do whatever I want on my computer. Now, this is actually only for writing purposes at this point. And if you ask any of my family members, they knew, do not touch my laptop, do not touch my computer. That was like written in stone. That was, you marked it on a Sharpie on the calendar. Like, it was something that, it was one of those unwritten laws that you have in your family, that even though you really don't say it's a rule, it is a definite rule. You do not touch mom's computer. Ask any of my family members or anybody else that comes to the house, and they will tell you, don't touch the laptop, because you don't want to take the wrath of me, which I'm fairly harmless, honestly. Now, even with this laptop, you made it super simple to write the letters, write the drafts, write everything that you wanted. And then you could email it to someone, post it on social media, make sure that you have everything situated for your book, your stories, whatever you wanted to do. And this was your writing space. Now, don't get me wrong. I also go back to the pen and paper quite a bit, especially when I'm doing my writing sprints, or I am just maybe wanting to brainstorm on a writing prompt, or trying to figure out my next game plan in my novels. This is something that, or maybe I don't even want to work on the computer. I just want to rest. I just want to relax, escape from reality just for a few minutes. Give me my piece of paper and my pen, and let my mind focus into my fingers, and I'll start writing about anything. Then whenever I can get to my computer, then I will transform everything that I have in that notebook, whether it goes into this book, that book, that book, or that book, or if it's a pen pal letter, or if it's anything like that, then it had its own compartment of where it needed to be. So in hindsight, my writing space turned into something that was totally old-fashioned to a little bit better, but I needed to tweak it a little bit, to big and bulky, to now I am just like a minimalist, where I just really need a laptop and a notebook or pen, pencil, whatever, what kind of writing utensils you need. And honestly, I am a happy little camper. So if you like these types of videos, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Until the next time, I love you bunches.